Hello dear friends, welcome to another video of the Never Do Through the GUI what you can do through the CLI. Today we will be watching Rust Serde working with untyped JSON values. I want to make this quick video and especially focus on how we can insert new values into an untyped JSON value, because I did not find any documentation regarding this issue. So I'm creating this video in order for it to be a resource and maybe help some people out that are trying to implement this functionality. So let's get out of this. Let's come here. This is the docs for the Serde JSON library. And let's come here and see what I mean. We have this data JSON file. It is taken from the docs as it is there in the docs. So we have this JSON data, and what we want to do is first of all parse it, and then we want to add some keys here. So I have already set up a lot of the code. As you can see, I read the file here, and I also convert it to a certain JSON value. So if we run now the application, if we come here and we run the application, you will see that we get the data. So far so good. Now I will not refer at all to printing values, because there are examples here. For example, here is the example. This is how you can print a value out of this JSON value. But we will stick to the untyped JSON values. Of course, the best approach is to always have a structure and use strongly typed data structures. So you should parse your JSON to a data structure. But in this case, this is what I want to focus on untyped JSON values, because there may be some case where you get some JSON and this JSON is not well defined in the essence that you cannot be sure of what fields it will include. It may include the field, it may not include the field, etc. So you cannot very easily provide the data structure in order to have this strongly typed, let's say, data. So let's continue, and what we want to focus is how we can inject new keys and new data in this JSON dynamically. For example, imagine that you get this data and you want on the fly to add some other data. For example, for this specific purpose, let's say that we want to add here a car key, let's say, and say what kind of car he has. Let's say that he has a foo as his car. So this is the data that we want to add, but we want to do it dynamically. So how would we go about doing this? So let me delete this from here, and let's come to our main arrays. And as I said, it is not defined in here. There is no such example, neither could I find such an example. But after messing with this a little bit, you will understand that everything that you do with an untyped JSON must be one of these values. So these are the building blocks for your JSON in case you want to add new values. So in our specific case, it seems that what we want to add is a new key, and it should have a string as a value. So this is what it seems that we must add in order to achieve what we want. So let's try this, and let's come here and say we will also have now this, and we will say that in our Serde data we want to add a new key, and that key will be named car, and this must be of some value. So the available values we saw are through this enum. So what we have to do is, first of all, we must say that we want this enum, and then out of this enum we want a string value, and the string value will be foo. And yes, we have an error here because this is not mutable. So let's make it mutable. And now the error goes away. So let's try to run this and see if we indeed achieved what we wanted to achieve. Phones array, and here is our new key. As you can see, indeed we managed to do what we wanted to do. Nice. Let me try to print it as a string. So we will say print to string and rerun. And what we have? Car. Yeah, we have the car. Excellent. Nothing really changed with the formatting, but the important thing is that we have our new key with our value. So it seems that we are doing okay. So this is the way that you can add new keys and new data in your untyped JSON. But now let's go for something more complicated, a more complicated example. So let's say here in our data that we want to add a car, but this will be an object in itself, and it will have the brand, and let's say the color. Let's say blue here, and let's say foo here. So let's take this, save this, come here and have this as the data here available in order for us to see. So now things changed. We want a more complicated data structure for our car key. So we don't want a string, a straightforward string value, but what we want, let's see what we have available here. Let's go to the docs, and it seems that what we want is this object map string value. So we want an object which contains a map of a string and a value. So let's start building this. Let's copy this. Let's come here and say that we want this thing here. So let's come here and we will say that what we want is an object, and the object wants a map. So let's define our map. Let map value equals Serde JSON value, not value map, sorry. Let's see the map, where the map is coming from. Let's duplicate this. Let's come here. Let's search for map. Serde JSON map. Okay, so we want a new one, so we will come here and we'll say that we want a Serde JSON map new. So we have a new map. This must be a mutable map. And what will this contain? It will contain these values, these key value pairs. So our map is the whole object here. And it contains these keys and values. So let's add our first, and we will say map value dot insert, and the first thing we want to insert is a string of brand to let's go to owned, and the second thing that we want is a value, again a Serde JSON value. So we will say Serde JSON value, and what value do we want here? This thing, this foo, which maps to this value, must be a string. So we want a string value here, and the value itself will be foo, and it wants to be a string, so we have to convert it to owned. So here we insert the first key value pair here. We are in here in this object. Now we have to insert also the color, and we will say that it is blue. And now we have to provide this map to the object value. So we have the object value, and all we have to do is provide this map value in here. So let's try to run this, and it did. We have no errors. As you can see, let's see, do we have our, yes, we have our car key, and we have our object, nested object, with the brand of foo and the color of blue. So it seems that everything is working here. If I remove this and rerun, you will see that the car is an empty object. So it seems that things are working as expected. Excellent. I think that you get the idea. This is how you build your new keys and your new value to an untyped JSON. And for example, we could also come here and say that we want a new key, whatever, and make it an array. So we would have, let's go and do this. Let's say, what new key do we want? We will say, let's say years. Not years. What is related to a car and needs multiple values? Whatever. Let's say here years, yeah, and we will just add years. It's not related, but we don't care. And we will make this number. So we will say 1, 2, 3. Let's say years. Okay, so we have our third key here, years, and we want another value here. The value will be apparently an array, if I remember correctly. Yes, let's check it out. an array which accepts a vector with values. So we will come here and we will say that we want here a vec with values 1, 2, 3. Let's run and see what the error is. Expected enum value, oh yeah, found integer. Serde JSON value array. I suppose this must be a Serde JSON vec. That's why. Let's try. Yes. Serde JSON similar to a JSON byte vector. Let's try this to vec. No. No. This must be Serde JSON values. Okay, and this will be numbers. Okay. This will be numbers. Yeah. So we need, instead of this, we need a Serde JSON value number, and the number will be 1. No. Expect shard found integer. Number. We want, this is our key, this is an array that we are adding. We are adding an array with a vec of values. It seems a little strange, but I will try this. Let's see this. Expected start number, found integer. That's interesting. Let's create let numbers equals Serde to vec result. Maybe this is what we need. No. Let's pass this in here and see what happens. Expected reference found integer. Help consider borrowing here. Okay. Let's try borrowing here. Expected enum value found U8. Array vec of value, number. Let's check the number. I thought it would be easier than this. Is number. JSON. Years, and we want an array here. An array of what? Of a vector of values, So we will say here, let numbers equals vec, and now we want values in here, so we'll say Serde JSON value number 1 reference. No. Let's comment this out and try to build our vector first. Expected start number found integer. Structure the JSON number. Value. This is strange. Insert the JSON value string number value from okay, maybe this is what we want, from number, from 1. Correct? Yeah, it seems correct. Let's uncomment this out and let's say that we want to provide the numbers here. It seems to work. Yeah! Yes, we got it. Yes. So this is how we can add an array here. We add the years and then let me change this. We build our vector. Let's add a couple of more values. So we'll say two and 3, and we insert it then here, and let's go and print. So we have our car, we have our brand, we have our color blue, and we have our years, which is an array of number 1, number 2, number 3. Let's print it as a string. Serde data dot to string, and let's print. Yes, nice. So this is the years, and the final result is an array of 1, 2, 3, just like we defined it here. So the end result is this. So This is how you can work with untyped values, how you can insert new values. I will not edit the video in order to cut out this searching and failing, because I want you to see the process that I follow in order to resolve the problems. Plus, I don't want to show that I am the perfect developer, because many videos on YouTube, you see the video and you think this is the best developer ever. If you don't want to see me searching and trying to resolve the errors, you can always fast forward the video and just watch the parts that you are interested in. So this is all I wanted to share in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Thank you for watching and have a great day.